So I'm ready to start framing this little sub-wall, pony wall, half wall around this chimney. And my desk is going to tie into that, and it's going to be roughly, what, 30 inches high. I'm not quite sure. I have to go down and measure my current desk in my booth, because I like that height. Whatever that is, I'll do it up here. My desktop will then tie into that 2x4 wall, and it gives it support, essentially. When I first saw the chimney, I was actually rather disappointed. I'd pictured this really nice looking chimney, really vibrant red brick and brilliant white, mortar. It ain't that. Imagine Santa Claus standing there cracking a Coca-Cola, in his big red vibrant suit and some, glossy magazine ad out of Life magazine from back in the 40s. That kind of brick is what I'd hoped for, and what I got was fire brick. The mortar itself is pretty crumbly. If I run my fingers through it and scuff it up a bit, I can make it crumble. I'm not sure how deep that goes. I'm thinking what I'll do is I will throw some sealant on it, some mortar sealant on it, and see if that solidifies it somewhat, which would then allow me maybe to scrub away at some of the brick itself with some sort of cleaner, an acetone or something. I'm not sure what to do on brick, but I'm hoping I can bring back some of that red color, because I was initially really excited by that. It'll be exposed anyway, but it might not be as pretty as I had hoped. When I built the door to my current booth downstairs, I used 2 sheets of 3/4 inch marine plywood, good one side, so it's a very smooth, very nice looking surface. It's not big enough for this room. It's a little too short, so I don't want to see that go to waste. So I'm going to use that as my desktop. It's roughly 5.5 feet by 3.5, so it's a nice big door, and it'll make a nice big desktop, and that's 1.5 inches. So if I allow for that 1.5 inches plus the subfloor plus the floor and this framing, it all works out. It should come out to 27 inches to the top of my work surface. So, yeah, cheers. If ever you're in Victoria, British Columbia, or anywhere in British Columbia, and you get a hold of a Hoyne Pilsner or a Hoyne IPA or a Hoyne anything, yeah, enjoy it. It's the best. So I was just about to move on and insulate this cavity space between the rafters when I realized I have to seal up this. This is the chimney going up through the roof, and I'm just going to put a 2x4 across here. But of course I can't just put a 2x4 in, because that would leave a big gap under here. So I simply took that same 2x4, and you can see that I've beveled it, and I flush it up and nail in here. You can see that it's flush along here, so this will be a nice nailing surface for the cladding that's going to come back in here. And I've got a nice tight seal against the fire brick, and when I'm finished this room, I can always put a little cone of a little bead of silicone along there to seal it nicely. So easy peasy. The blessed day has arrived when I can start putting the cladding back onto the walls, which is the first step, and then the second one would be applying drywall. And it means that my brother and I, Marty, who's here today helping me, he also helped me put on the subfloor, and I'm very appreciative of that.
Mark at 0, dude.
We have to notch around these boxes and do some cutting and some finagling, and we're cutting out little bits and pieces to make them fit behind the box because of the irregularities in the stud and that kind of thing. But once that goes on, once I clear the electrical boxes, it's open country. It just means I can get the wood on the walls a lot quicker, because there's nothing to cut around. So this is the niggly part, and it's the time-consuming part, but we're making good progress. Well, this is fun. The reason we were having trouble sneaking this cladding in behind these boxes is because when I mounted them, of course, I had to mount them with a 3/4 inch offset for the cladding. And then, of course, the drywall will finish over top of them. But when I put them on the wall, of course, it's this piece here that is just proud of the stud. Just proud of the stud. So when I'm trying to sneak wood in behind, it's bumping in here. So I've had to take my chisel, snippers or anything I could, to try and clip off this face. That was what was causing the wood to jam in here. I'm having a wee pause for thought here as I think about that hole behind the chimney before I carry on with the cladding. I haven't really thought about it much. That's kind of the way I work, which is in many ways is not a good way to work. But in others, it's a little bit more freeing, and I do tend to like that. I like to work off the cuff and problem solve as I go. This is not a huge problem, but it's something I have to do. So I built a little box in behind this chimney, floor to ceiling, to the underside of the roof. I'm going to put 2 bats of insulation in here to cover this gap. Also, because I'm not going to put any wood cladding in there. It's something I probably should have done at the very beginning. from the attic side, but I didn't. I left this chimney till the end, and that's not a big deal, but it's just a bit more of a pain in the ass, frankly. But having done that, I'm sealed up in behind the chimney. What I do have to do is attend to these openings. I have to seal these up and put a little 2x4 frame around them. My brother, my twin brother, came over, bad back and all. This is why we love our twin brothers, and family, or anybody who will help, frankly. He helped me with this long wall, and that was really important. Thank you, Marty. So that's one side of the room done. What's kind of distressing and a little bit depressing is that when I look at it now, it looks very much like it did many weeks ago when I took off the paper to reveal the wood. I know that in behind that wood is proper insulation, vapor barrier, upgraded and modern wiring, lots of outlets, and it just looks the same though. It's almost like you haven't made progress. I know there has been, but it's sometimes hard to see. What I did forget in our haste, when I put this stuff up on the ceiling, I'd wanted to put an 1/8 of an inch cork underlay under that, because I know that one of the challenges I will have on this slope is when it rains. We do get a fair amount of rain here, not as much as on the mainland, but we get a fair amount of rain. And I wanted to have something that would help dampen that before it hits the wood, before it hits the drywall. But I can still do that. I'll still put my layer of cork on here and then the drywall on top of that. On the other side of the room, I will make sure to put the cork on first, then the wood, and that'll help dampen the sound of that rain. On the other side of the room is more important because that's where my microphone is going to be, and that patter, you might say, in the rooftop will be right in the cardioid lobe of my microphone. So that's really where I need to dampen it. So I'm not too distressed that I was working in a hurry and sort of whipped over this. That feels good. I'm not going to do the ceiling part. I still have to do this. I will put this cork underlay on this side when I do my drywall. In fact, I have to buy more because I ran short there as well. It's always more and more and more. But it feels good. What's really odd though is that I ran out of cladding, and you would think that everything I took off should go back on and there shouldn't be any problem with running short. That's not the case. I didn't put it back on the wall the way I took it off. It wasn't numbered, and I wasn't reassembling some ancient skeleton unearthed from the desert, and everything is numbered and cataloged. It was just a lumber pile. I sorted through it. I took the appropriate pieces. It's just cutting and using up stock, and so I'm not too surprised. I didn't think that I would run that short. I was pretty tight, but I did run through it all. If I have any other cladding or any other wood fill I need, I've got lots of flooring that I can use. So that's it. My next step is to build or to frame my end wall and to frame the wall that's going to take the new door.